So we came back from trying to boil this down. We did take out the one screw on this cap, and then we tried boiling this out the way you usually do with night finders to pull it apart. And unfortunately, it looks like they solvent welded this whole piece together. So we're gonna have to deal with this as a whole unit. You won't be able to get the spring changed out because they also put this cap on, which has snap connectors over it. It just snaps right on, and they solvent welded that in place too. So there's no way this as a whole is coming apart without cutting it up and rebuilding it. So we'll just go ahead and try and use it the way it is. It shouldn't really be much of a problem as long as we can fill these air slits in. I don't know about you, but I think we're safe. We're best to maintain the stock mechanism here, where
as much as possible.
Where this piece here is open when the breech is closed. You'll have to half prime it to close the bolt, to stick a magazine in there, and dry fire it once to load a dart. Or manually load the first dart, prime it, and then stick the magazine.
I forgot about the way that it actually
loads magazines.
Yeah.
But I think we'll be safe if we do it that way. There's no real risk as long as you know what you're doing when operating the blaster.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of dry firing it at all.
That's why if you stick a dart in manually.
I don't know if there's any padding at the back of this plunger tube. I'm trying to pull
There
this
is.
out
It's
right
not in the plunger tube. It's right here. I pulled it out already. It's on that piece there. It doesn't actually go down.
Oh, okay.
So,
I didn't realize you pulled those off.
I pulled it off to make it easier. See, this here doesn't actually go down this far. We're letting it go too far. If I put one of these rubber stoppers back in, they go in just like this. Let's see if I can get it in. I only need one to really show. So when it's cocked the way it's supposed to be, and it's popping out because I didn't actually get it in. When it's cocked the way it's supposed to be, it hits these rubber stoppers, and that's a really big squish. There's nothing there that's gonna.
Yeah. So
that's why this is so quiet stock, because this spring, honestly, against what people say, this spring is very stiff.
Yeah.
I would say it's stiffer than a Big Bad Bow spring, which is probably one of the stiffest springs in the stock Nerf blaster.
Hopefully the camera is getting that in there. You can see the spring coils. There we have it. That's our analysis of the plunger setup. The locks in this, like,
way above us.
Yeah,
we'd have to study them. They're very different from the way any normal Nerf lock works. I mean, we've got this fancy dart door, which we would be getting rid of if we do a sealed streamline breech, thankfully. The nice thing is if we do go that route, we would be getting rid of a lot of the complexity of what's here, and we would be really only using this and the ratchet and gear system and then the stock catch spring, which I still don't even understand how that works, because what does this catch to? This is the catch plate. Is this plunger tube sitting all the way, even if it's sitting all the way back here, it's not in. So.
That's a good point. What else came out of this? Does it catch in something in the?
I don't know. That's something we'll have to figure out. And there's some craft foam that they put at the factory on the back of this plunger tube. So I don't know if they're expecting this to hit something, say, in the back of the shell here, which it looks like it might. And then this is the prime indicator. I think that's all this is the prime indicator, because it doesn't actually impede the blaster's prime. It was just this one here. It's worth noting that all of the springs in this are reminiscent of the old Nerf days. I mean, this is the trigger return spring, and this is stiffer than most trigger catch springs.
I think it's about time to wrap this up, because there's really not much more we can say about this. I mean, we might have a second amendum video about this.
This might not even go back together.
Yeah, we're actually a little worried it might not go back together, but we'll probably have another video coming up, maybe explaining some of the mechanisms in this a little better after we study it. But we were just, we got our hands on this and we were hoping to get something out on it. Well, I hope we were able to, show you guys something and learn a little bit about how much of a mess this thing is.
And to turn you away from opening it all.
Yeah.
There's no need to open this. In fact, in all reality, I would say unless you think it looks really cool, it's not worth it. Our friend Random Shadow will have a video up of range tests, and while it does hit 100 feet angled, which I don't believe he took shots of, it is inconsistent. It's not really that great, and the darts degrade very quickly, and they cause issues with the magazines feeding after being shot 1 or 2 times. And then the fact that it's 10 darts for $7 is very overpriced for what you get. The ammo doesn't last.
Alright, so there we have it. That's our first impressions on this, and we'll see you guys later. This thing's got us a bit stumped.
Well guys, the Centurion sure is an interesting blaster, isn't it? But it's been a couple of days now, and I wanted to wait for the first video to get out there a little bit and kind of film a little bit of a more in-depth closing to the second half. But I've had a couple of days to think about the Centurion, and from a modding standpoint, I don't really see the potential there anymore. The blaster has a lot going for it, but they've done a lot to it to prevent actually modding from getting done, which is unfortunate. I wish the plunger tube was actually disassemblable without completely destroying it. And honestly, if we were to replace the breaching system, I mean, we'd have to completely redesign the magwell, and honestly, I think reverse the way the blaster actually functions, in that the bolt would have to be closed in order to insert a clip. But I don't know, maybe somebody will come up with a better idea, but for right now I'm not seeing the modding potential, and I think I'm going to stay away from it. That's not to say that, if you like the blaster and you're a collector, or you just like blasters in their stock form, it's a great blaster. It really is. It's, it doesn't quite hit that 100-foot mark that they claim, and you can go over to Random Shadow's channel. I'll link it here, and you can see his performance videos on it. But as far as a lot of the large blasters go, it looks pretty damn awesome. The stock is really comfortable, and it's got a lot of things going for it in its stock form, but mod potential, I just don't see it there, and that's just my opinion. Maybe others would have, a different opinion of it, but for right now, I'm going to stay away from it. I did want to answer a couple of questions that I did get in, private message to me and comments and stuff. First off, where we got it, it came from the same target that Random Shadow got his from, and I can't really say anything more about that. The second thing is, I was getting some questions about the darts, why we didn't have them. Well, the Centurion we bought was a boxed one. It did come with the darts. It, was official retail packaging, came from a Target. But after like 10-12 hours of playing with it, the darts just completely broke down. The heads broke off, the foam cracked, and they were completely unusable and ended up getting trashed. I wish I had some to, show off it during that video, but they played with it for about 10 to 12 hours, and the darts were just trash. But anyway, that's my closing to this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you for all the new subs that came in from that and from Random Shadow. I just want to say we really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Subs always help, likes help. I don't really want to beg for these things, but it's nice to have them. Thank you guys.